Hello, friends. Welcome to the quarantine zone. Okay, this is going to be an epic one. I have no idea if it's going to work. Already, we've got some technical difficulties up there. That was going to be Alex Hitchcock, but
I
Alex
think he's
is
just turned the
here.
lights off.
That's it. Yeah, he feels more comfortable in the dark. Alex, say hi, just so people believe that you're here.
Hi, I am really here.
And just so we know, Mark, Tom, Matt, you are not trained ventriloquists, no?
No.
Anyway,
No.
far over here is Matt Ridley. Less, more in the center, in the political center, we've got Tom Hewson, and in the northwest, we've got Mark Michelle up here. So, this is really exciting. Yesterday marked the album launch for Matt Ridley's Antidote, which features these 5 fine chaps. Here we are. And we thought it would be nice for anyone that couldn't make it to the Pizza Express Dean Street to do a little digital album launch. So thanks everyone who's tuning in, and yeah, let's get into it. So how are you guys doing? Matt, tell us a little bit about the album. I can't remember exactly when we recorded it, but it was
at the end of October 2019. So almost 2 years. It's always, doing a record, I don't know what your experience is, but it always seems to take like more than a year between recording and it coming out, which is always like painfully long time. But this was like super long. It was supposed to be out last October if things were going according to plan. But of course, things didn't because of coronavirus.
Yeah, I think you made the right call.
So here we are. Totally, yeah. The gig scene still isn't what it was in terms of there's so many rescheduled gigs that are now taking place that it's pretty much now impossible to get any sort of touring happening surrounding the release. But we will be out there next year for sure and afterwards.
Where are we going to go, Matt? What countries are we going to go to?
Well, where would you like to go, Alex? Mark, where would we all like to? I've always wanted to visit Iceland and Greenland, Japan, Latin
Thailand.
America as well. Which one, Mark?
Japan for me, Matt, and maybe that massive festival that Mark played at in South Korea as well. That would be good.
Oh yeah, Jarasim, yeah. Let's do Taiwan. Let's do Taiwan Jazz Festival. 30,000 people. Let's do it.
Wow.
Are you getting this, Matt?
I am.
Yeah.
I hope you
Loud
get
and
this.
clear. Me too. Well, I would sincerely love to go to the Far East. I've never been, and especially Japan. I'm very curious. But I think Japan, they're extremely switched on to Western culture. They absolutely love it. So with any luck, who knows? The album might get some traction in Japan, and there might be a release specifically for the Japanese market because they tend to like things done especially for them. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about yourselves, but personally, quite a lot of the more obscure CDs or albums that I come across, and I want the actual CD, and I find it on Amazon. It's never available from Amazon itself. You have to order it from a record store, and it always turns up, and it's got Japanese writing in it because these CDs exist for the Japanese market and for nowhere else. And I think that's a pretty big shame.
Yeah, man. I remember being in Amsterdam and finding a Japanese import of a Steve Vai CD, which had 3 extra tunes just for the Japanese one. So,
Dude,
Totally,
which record?
it was the Ultra Zone.
Ah, nice. I was listening to that the other day. I decided, we're going on to Steve Vai, but I just got excited when you mentioned the Ultrazone because that was one of my teenage, buy Yamaha Pacifica and pretend to play the guitar albums was the Ultrazone. And
I used to have
3
Yamaha
tracks.
Pacifica.
I'm gonna check out the Japanese import.
You have to. There's a really nice song for his mum.
Oh, I've lost Ant. I can't hear anything.
Oh no. Well,
Yeah, I think it's probably me. You guys are all talking to each
I
other, and
hope it's
I
you.
keep dropping out. So
Tom-
you guys talk.
But
You'll
guys,
come back. I can't hear you.
when Tom reacted so warmly to the mention of Steve Vai, I really was not sure if he was joking or trying to take the mickey out of me. So, but I think he was being serious. Um, Matt, so thanks for naming the album after me. Anything else to say about the album?
What would you like to know? I mean, that's a big question, isn't it?
No, I'm just kidding. Well, I was thinking it could be nice to read these paragraphs. I really like these paragraphs,
Sure.
actually. But would it be too silly for you to read them? Or would that be
Not
it?
at all.
Well,
Let
Jeremy
me
Stacey
find-
is watching. What's up, Jeremy?
Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah. So,
Let me just find my. I did have an album kicking around that was out of the shrink wrap. It might be next door. Give me 1 second. Unless you just want to read it now. I
all
don't
right,
mind.
let me read it. I like it. I got it here. Okay, friends. So, actually, no, wait. Let's save this. Let's save this for a little bit later. Let's talk a little bit about. Matt Ridley, the man of the moment. So I first met Matt. I think a bass player pulled out of a gig, and Matt filled in at the last minute. And I remember thinking, this guy seems like a complete idiot. I hope I never have to play with him again. When I met you, but then when you played, your playing was killing, and I was like, oh, okay, so he's really spaced out, but at least his playing is good. And then we got to playing in Paul Riley's band. For anyone who wants to go listen, there's an album called Antidote, which you can listen to. So that's when I met you, Matt. And then I needed someone to do a tour with me, and this is what we did. We did this tour. This was really fun. So we played St. Ives, all of the big spots in the UK. No, a lot of small spots. But folks, Matt is a very versatile musician. He plays some more kind of straight ahead jazz. For example, this project, which was running for a long time. He also plays with Darius Brubeck, so one of Dave Brubeck's sons. And here are two of my favorite albums by them. This one, which I think is a little bit more recent, with Matt with his long hair.
That's the most recent one.
Yeah, the Poland one, yeah?
Yeah.
But, okay, so your first record as a leader, Matt, that was Thymos. What does Thymos mean for anyone that doesn't speak whatever the language it is?
Greek.
It's an ancient Greek word meaning spirited. And there's something in it like desire for recognition and like the spiritedness and like just embodied the feeling that I had that I wanted to capture when I was like striking out doing my own record. It's like, this is who I am, and this is what I want to do, and just all the feelings that one has for like behind doing a first album, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I came across it when I was reading a book, and I was like, that is the word that sums it up, basically. So
Yeah.
that's why I call it that.
It's funny when a label or someone says, what's the story with this album? And you go, well, we're trying to vibrate airwaves in a way that essentially communicates something to people. But that doesn't really sound very snappy. You can't really sell that very easily. So, but I think Thymos obviously captures it quite well. Okay, what about your second record, Meta? This one.
That one, I mean, it's a little bit of a different flavour to that one. It's overall a bit more chilled than the first record. And in between the first one and the second one, I sort of got really interested in meditation. So I'd been on like 2 silent meditation retreats. And metta is this idea of benevolent kindness where you first consider feelings of goodwill towards yourself and benevolence and kindness, and then you think about people that you know and love, that you also extend these feelings towards, and then you extend them towards people to whom you're indifferent, and then lastly you extend the feelings towards someone that people that you really don't like. And it's like it's a healing process to do this sort of thing.
So,
Hey Matt,
did you extend meta to Matt when you first played with him then?
You mean
You
benevolent?
Was
asking
it,
me,
did
or
you
Matt?
extend? Well, either way, was there meta? Did you offer each other meta? You know, the first time you played together.
I think we met, and it predated my
predated meta.
journeys, my voyages in meditation. Yeah,
I think Matt
But-
called me because he wanted a guitar player who wasn't scared of playing with distortion, and would practice.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Did the meditation retreat start like immediately after meeting Anne? That's the next question I have. I'm just trying to like get the timeline here. That's all it is. That's what I'm thinking. Or is there's no relation
Yeah.
at all between the move to meditative contemplation and like then meeting Anne? There's no.
there's no.
Okay, that's
correlation.
Well,
Actually, no. The reason I started on the meditation thing is because when I first with my wife on my like first or second date we went on, she was like, "Yeah, when I was in Thailand, I did this meditation retreat, and it was amazing." And towards the end of 2011, I was kind of in a bit of a rut, and sort of like hacked off with everything, and a bit jaded, like down on practicing, down on music as a whole. I was just like fed up, kind of thing. And then 2012 was when I was like, right, I'm going to do my album. And I started really like shedding the bass, like practicing loads. I got some lessons, and it just helped blow all the cobwebs away. And then that coincided with me meeting Tanea as well. So on our second date, when she's like, "Oh yeah, I did this meditation retreat," I was like, "Yeah, shit, I kind of always wanted to do something like that." So then I just booked it straight away. So that's that story. Yeah.
wicked. Yeah, whilst you and many other people indeed practice Buddhism, I practice reverse Buddhism, which is where you try to remain as panicked and just freak out as all the time. And whereas in one of the precepts, I believe, of Buddhism is that you try not to like take anything that affects the way your mind works. I try to drink as much coffee as possible to aid the. You're right there, Alex. Alex, I'm glad you're all right. So everyone, that is anyone who's just tuned in. That is Alex up there, top right. And why?
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, everyone's going, oh, why did you put the blank one in the big section at the top right? Well, I didn't think about that until now. Okay, so.
I just want to immediately come in and correct any misperceptions that anyone might have from watching this broadcast. Where I don't want to be made to look like I'm bad at technology. I'm extremely good. I've got an external webcam that I use for everything. Under normal circumstances, you'd be able to see every pore, every hair on my head. But yeah, sorry, Ant, I couldn't make it work. But I'm having a lovely time. I just wanted a full list of the people that Matt didn't like that he practiced the meta on, but maybe he can email that to me afterwards or something.
I think I might just have to tell you once off in the pub one day, or on a long car journey or something, because
you don't want a written record.
There's not very many people, to be honest, but there maybe are a couple. Who knows?
Make sure you record it, Alex. Make sure you record it. So I just want to say that Tom Hewson, well done. Aren't you artistic with your picture behind you? Matt Ridley, well done. Aren't you artistic with your picture behind you? And Mark Michelle, appreciating your picture up there. What is that? I really like that.
I've strictly no idea.
It looks cool.
I'm sorry.
It looks like a peacock.
It's
feathers.
probably that.
Yeah, but like with different colors or something. How you doing, Mark? Are you okay, man? We missed you last night, man.
I'm so sorry I didn't make it. I mean, Corona, So yeah, I hope like the party was great. And well, I'm doing good. I'm playing quite a lot, so this is fine because this is my job. That's how I put food in my mouth. So it's kind of cool. And no, it's just nice to have the things like coming back and everything. But yeah, well, I mean, it's really great to see this project coming to to like some kind of like, okay, now it's out there. The music is great. Actually, many musicians around, as in Berlin or in France, where I was recently, told me that it sounds amazing, which is kind of cool. So congratulations, Matt, for your music, and I
Thank
was
you very
really
much,
happy.
man.
And I was really happy to be on the album with you guys because it's fun, and you're not bad players. You're really good. So no, it was really really cool. So yeah, this is life at the moment for me.
Yeah.
How are you, Ant?
Yeah, I'm cool, man. Well, it's like that old saying, isn't it? Guys, I played with a lot of musicians, and you're some of them. Let's go to let's go to the first track on the on the album. Okay, here we go, and then we're going to talk about it afterwards. Phalo Blue. Here we go. Yeah. Hey, how'd you like the new layout, guys?
It's amazing.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful tune, Matt. Beautiful tune. You know.
Thank you very much, man.
Who says you can't play A minor on, D flat major? Well,
No one.
but if they did, they would be wrong. No, I love that. I love that bit at the end. It's so epic. Yeah, nice writing.
Cheers, man.
Yeah. What is Phthalo Blue?
Phthalo Blue is a colour that is I learned from the Bob Ross show.
Who's Bob Ross?
Bob Ross is that guy from the 80s with an afro. And he's kind of got a cult following for this show that he does. What is it? What is it even called? Bob Ross paint. It's like anyone can paint kind of thing. I'm going to Google it now because that's
Okay.
I mean, I check it out. It's very relaxing. The joy of painting. That's it.
Right.
The joy of painting. Anyway, so he uses this colour phthalo blue to paint the sky, and it's like a very vivid blue, beautiful blue. And my wife was pregnant with our child, and in hospital with preeclampsia, like a few weeks before the birth, or maybe like a couple of weeks before the birth, and she had very high blood pressure. So I suggested that we watch a bit of Bob Ross to just like chill out, and then hopefully her blood pressure would come down, and then hopefully the hospital would let her go home. And this was at the time when we were trying to think about names, potential names for the baby, and then just started watching it. And he's got the very relaxing tone of voice, and like, I'm just going to go up here with a little bit of phthalo blue, and we're like, it's quite a nice name actually. I like that. And then I spent a few days trying to figure out whether I was actually going to call my son a paint colour. So, and that was coinciding. This was the last tune on the album that actually kind of came together before the recording. So I just called it Phthalo Blue as kind of an experiment as to whether it was going to work as a name. So that's what we went for in the end. So it's the name of my son, but it's not named after him. It was named just as a kind of a trial run. And I mean, Blue. I think this tune is maybe slightly dark for Phthalo Blue, but it's still. Blue's my favourite colour anyway, and I just love that sort of vivid blue. So there you go.
Wicked. I mean, Matt, I have to say, man, like there was a lot of like getting the album done. There were like, it felt like it was a pretty intense time. Leading up to the birth of Phthalo, and getting the album done before that, so that you could really be around to, to be supportive and look after Phthalo, look after Snare, and so on.
But he was already born. He was born in July. We recorded in October.
Well, certainly when we were playing it, it felt like it represented like carnage and intensity, and sort of it was an intense dark tune, and it kind of summarizes that. It captures the feeling of that era. I remember like rehearsals and kind of changing things up, and I think it like opening the album with it was kind of appropriate because it was like, okay, this. It kind of sets the tone quite nicely, is what I'm trying to say in a very long-winded way.
Sure.
But yeah. Did you find the name of the painting show?
Yeah, The Joy of Painting.
Oh, cool. Alex,
I remember that well.
Yeah.
It's good sort of like hangover watching. If you ever watch Peep Show, that
they refer to him as God.
Yeah. They watch that when they're hungover and trying to recover, which I've never done, to be honest. But I'm sure it would be good hangover fodder, or just good chilling late night thing. It's brilliant.
Have you started suddenly scoping out Bob Ross colours for future offspring? Like after Phthalo Blue.
Very good question.
Well,
I don't think we're going to have another one, but
that's what everyone says.
If we had a girl, it'd be quite interesting to call her Alizarin Crimson.
It sounds a bit
That's
like
one of the
lizard,
reds.
though. Sounds a bit like lizard.
It's quite lizardy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so does
Tom,
Liz.
Yeah, but Lizarin. But Tom, Mark, Alex, if you had to name a kid after a colour, what would it be? I think I would go for Roigbiv, because Roigbiv sounds like a name. But what would you go for, Alex?
Roy.
Mark.
Well, I was
there's a
not
colour-
prepared for this question.
Come on, Mark.
You did-
Well, you're going to be like Burgundy. Or like,
Well, I don't know. Dude, I have no idea. It's like even the thoughts never crossed my mind.
I know,
So,
but dude, a gun to your head. What are you going to call your kid if it has to be a color? You have to answer.
Okay, Alex, go first.
I was going to say there's a blue called Yves Klein Blue, isn't there? And he kind of dedicated a lot of his life to it. So, that's a ready-made name as well. So if I was happy to call my child Yves Klein, then that would be my way out.
Yves Klein. Yves Klein.
Yves Klein, like the French painter.
Klein.
Oh, okay. Because I'm French, I don't know what colors you're talking about. It's really like specific. It's like burgundy, yes, but like, what's the name of your color, Alex, again?
Yves Klein Blue. It's I'll send
okay.
you I'll Google it and send you a picture.
No, I got it. I know Yves Klein. Right.
He said he invented a new color, and was obsessed with it, basically.
All right.
Tom?
I think I've seen. Yeah, okay, I see.
Tom, Mark?
I mean, I just go classic. I just be classic, kind of. I think like just go avocado.
Avocado.
Avocado. You know that
Or
beautiful
mustard.
muddy brown green. You know they're gonna grow up and like just gonna be inhabit that sort of slightly like 1970s bathroom personality, like avocado. Yeah,
So it would be like, hey, avocado, come here.
yeah. Probably it's shortened to like avo.
Yeah, and then you'd be
Avo.
like, I'm just
Get
gonna
here.
go. I'm just gonna go to the school and collect avocado.
Avo. Yeah, exactly.
Viewer figures are plummeting, guys. Don't, I hate to point that one out, but
They are. They
Yves
did
Klein
actually
Blue,
just
go
descend.
clean your room.
Yeah. My wife says, and I think she's talking about the Yves Klein Blue, is the one that they use for the Blue Man show, which they rub on the
Thank
skin
you, Amy.
of the Blue Man.
Yes.
Other,
That makes sense.
Other fun... Go ahead, Alex.
Well, I just took the opportunity of Googling it because I'm not on camera, am I? So I can do whatever I want at any
Yeah,
point.
but when you're clicking on the
you can
mouse, we can all hear it, yeah?
Okay. You can call your child elephant's breath, which is a farrow and bull colour. You can call your child dead salmon, which is another farrow and bull colour. You can call your child nacho cheese, which is by a paint
Oh,
company
I'm going
called
for
Benjamin
nacho
Moore.
cheese. Nacho
Yeah?
cheese for me. Yeah, I think nacho cheese. Hey, Nat.
Yeah. Maybe I'll update you with more as I find more.
Alex, very much not bringing anything visual to this stream, but very much bringing the colours and banter to make up for it. We appreciate it, Alex. What about the darkest colour ever, Vanta Black? That's a cool colour. It's one used by like scientists and stuff, and it like actually absorbs light, so it sort of looks like there's a hole there, even if there isn't.
It's a pretty heavy
wow.
first name to carry all your life. You're the darkest black, and you're like literally suck like the light out of eternity. It's like it's really deep in a way.
Yeah. Well, when you're thinking about names, you know, if you're like, oh, we could call her Joy, or we could name her after the darkest color known to man, you know.
Well, I still call my son Nacho. Nacho is cool. Nacho cheese. Sorry about the lights. I keep nacho cheese, guys.
Okay.
You got it.
I'll get back to you. Maybe I can have a submission from my wife, who's on the.
I'm getting weird things here with Nacho and submission. It's going all Mexican
Nacho
wrestling in my
submission.
head.
Everyone, send us your Nacho submission.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's bring it back a bit seriously, Matt. When I brought back the CD, which people can buy, where can people buy it?
Bandcamp, mattridley.bandcamp.com or Amazon.
Yeah. Great. Great. Buy music.
I'm sure there's other places.
I'd like to read you these nice paragraphs that Matt wrote in the album. Actually, does anyone else want to read it? People are probably sick of my voice. None of you probably have it, right? Okay, I'll read it. The year is AD 2020, and to many, it may seem as if the world as we know it is descending into chaos. Economic differences are becoming more pronounced and entrenched, while conservative and liberal ideologies are increasingly radicalized by fake news and the echo chamber of social media. A climate change catastrophe is nigh upon us, while the COVID-19 pandemic rages out of control. Despite many crucial advances, we are looking at a world that is more divided and at odds with itself than ever before. Where does anyone stand in this with us or against us combative mentality? Surely now is the time to focus on our commonality, compromise what binds us as a society rather than what divides us. Music is for everyone, a miracle and a phenomenon that is taken for granted due to its ubiquity in our culture. Who would have thought that vibrations in the air surrounding us could have the power to transport, uplift, and excite the full gamut of human emotion and experience created by invisible sound pressure waves? While music has the power to unite, it also has the power to divide. This album is my humble attempt at creating music that reconciles the differences between us all. Rather than creating a jazz album, my intention has always been to bring together aspects of all of the music and culture that I have experienced in my time on planet Earth, while also respecting and honouring the jazz tradition. I sincerely hope this body of work offers as much for the seasoned jazz listener as the uninitiated, something you could listen to whilst going about your daily routine, whilst also worthy of your full attention, perhaps something that will encourage reflection and realization that we are not so different after all.
Boom.
I like that, Matt. It's very profound. And if anyone wants to read that,
Thank you.
You've got to buy the album, because you don't get that on streaming, everyone. So, you know. Anything to add? Anyone?
After that, oh.
I really like that as an idea, Matt. I think that's really great that you that you want to make something that's listenable for someone that's listened to thousands of albums from the jazz tradition and someone that's listened to no one. I think that's a good thing to try and achieve. Not everyone does. I think you did it with this album.
Thanks. I mean, it's probably kind of an ambitious thing to say, to be honest, because you probably do have to know. I mean, the thing is, like, I think, like, if you came, I like the idea that if anyone off the street came to see the gig at the Pizza last night, they could have got really into it. Do you know what I mean? When you've got a CD, I've got Rihanna in one hand and the Antidote in the other, and I'm a Rihanna fan. I don't know anything about jazz. Probably, I'm going to enjoy the Rihanna CD more because that's what I'm accustomed to. But if you come on off the street and you check out the Antidote, then I just want to have anyone's like mind completely blown open, because that's the experience that I've had when I've gone to like absolutely killing gigs where the music's spoken to me in a kind of unpretentious way, with loads of all of the good things about music and none of the things that maybe are not so good. So yeah, it's that idea of trying to find the middle ground between actually having like strong content and lots of good content, but also can appeal to people who are not actually looking for content, because quite often people who are seasoned appreciators of music would be kind of searching for high content music and would eschew their kind of, you know, one chord jam. I'm just making one chord jam type music.
Things. Your music just does the things that music doesn't. It's not self-conscious to the extent like it. It just, if the music needs to do a thing, it does the thing, and that's what makes it. That's what makes it listened to. It doesn't stop like in a jazz way and think, but is this the thing I should do if I'm jazz? It's just like, do the thing. And that's why it sounds great. And that's why the people at Pizza Express were like...
Last night was crazy, man.
Yeah. That's why people were there who don't listen to jazz. Like, I don't really listen to jazz, but that was cool. And that's why it's super fun to play. Because we actually all really like doing the thing that the music needs to do. And sometimes jazz that's really self-consciously trying to be jazz doesn't do the thing the music needs to do.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
Absolutely, Tom. Yeah, for me, I think when you practice a lot and put so much time into lots of kind of nitty-gritty detailed things, your attention can remain on those things, whereas when you watch a concert, you take things in a much more broad way. So I've had this when I watch a friend, or a friend comes to watch me play, and they're like, oh, you know, great gig, and I'm like, oh man, yeah, but remember that thing, I didn't nail that one thing, and they're like, yeah, whatever, it was cool. And then when I see their gigs, they do the same thing to me, and it's just being focused on different kind of things. Like we really care about every detail. I want every note I play in an improvised solo, I want it to sound like a composition. I want it to sound like the best composition that's ever been composed. You know, ideally, I want to be able to improvise to that level. But the way that by the way, everyone's got really quiet. Please do correct me if I'm completely wrong, but the way that we experience music as a listener is a lot more broad, basically. And so I think there's a bigness to the vibe. And last night, it was just big, which was really cool. And looking forward to doing more. So you book the gigs, yeah?
That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Well, next week. Now I've got some press and some, the launch gig is out of the way, so I don't have to practice every spare minute, of which there are very few, being a dad, all the spare minutes now are going to be like hustling venues and stuff for next year and beyond.
Wicked.
So armed with what we've done and what people have said about it, which is nice.
Tom Hewson, you about to say something, or are you just gesticulating?
It was a gesticulation that I realised I sort of bailed on.
You could gesticulate your little heart out, bro. That's QZ
I
is
will.
your forum to gesticulate.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it down here.
All right, guys. Let's go to the special section of the QZ called "Stuff Ant Has Appropriated from Twitter." What do you think about this? On March 13th, 1919, a letter from a New Orleans serial killer said he would kill again at 15 minutes past midnight, but would spare the occupants of any place where a jazz band was playing. That night, every dance hall was filled to capacity and no one was murdered. So I just want to remind people my band is playing at Ronnie Scott's next Thursday. So just think about this. Any comments?
Is that for real?
Yeah, man. I found it on the internet, bro. Must be.
It's surely real.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
Let's do it again. What about this one?
Wow. I saw. I pulled up to the traffic lights at Vauxhall Bridge, and there was an Uber driver just asleep in the middle of the road at the traffic lights going up to Vauxhall Bridge, and it was. I felt very sorry for him, because surely if you get stopped by the police literally asleep in the middle of the road, he wasn't moving. But I had to sort of, when you feather the horn, like you don't do a full blast on the horn, you do like a quick light tap, to try and wake him up.
Like a friendly one.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're a very friendly driver, Alex, I have to say.
Whoa.
Is that sarcasm?
Yes.
This is.
I actually like your driving, Alex. I have to say,
Me too. I love it.
You got me on that tour to the West Country, and I went to the Royal Academy to rehearse with you, and we had that lift, and I was like, can I cope with this person's driving for a million hours? Because sometimes I don't like being in the car if someone's driving and I don't like their driving style. And I was like, yeah, I quite like Alex's driving style, actually. Doesn't mess around. Good. And it was
Matt.
good. Enjoyed it.
Matt, what the hell, man? You like audition drivers who you're going to do sideman gigs with? What a process.
Well, yeah, pretty much, because otherwise I'll just drive and then the other person can be the passenger.
Fair enough.
I mean, I do drive to most gigs anyway. But there was a question about that one because there was something up with my car at the time, so I was like, "Can I bear to be driven by this person?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine, it's good."
And you could. That's really flattering. I don't really drive. I'm not really driving that much at the moment because I don't have any gigs. I'm mostly driving. I catch rats that my cats have brought into my flat, and I drive them to other parts of Camberwell and release them so that they don't so that they can't home.
This has to be the best question, like interview of ever.
That's hilarious.
So, all right, I'd like to hear a little bit from you each individually if you've got any exciting things coming up. I mean, Alex, I'm pretty sure it doesn't get better than driving rats around Camberwell. But is there anything else you want to share with our dear viewers? About what you're up to. Any interesting releases, for example, on the amazing Fresh Sound New Talent? Or is it bad to... Matt, we could talk about what everyone's up to, right? Because that's the whole thing about your band, is it brings together lots of energies. Can we say discussion of other releases a little bit?
Go ahead.
Alex,
I don't have anything coming up, but
we got a gig in Birmingham in like November, I think.
end of November, yeah.
Yeah. But Alex, tell us, man, what's going on? Alex, are you there?
Conveniently
Yeah,
silent.
conveniently.
Oh, sorry, guys. My
Yeah.
I can't.
Tom, how is, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about the thing that you and I talked about last night. Well, Alex is fully dead. That's a shame.
Oh, by news.
Can we tell people about the project that's been taking up a lot of your energy?
Oh, well, yeah, we can tell people about that. Yeah, I'm putting together a big. I mean, it's kind of a studio record, but
Yep.
I'm the idea in my head is just to bring together loads of the jazz musicians and also loads of some of the musicians from outside of the jazz world that I've been working with for the last like 5 years, and just get it all together. And you know, so yeah, I've been writing that, and I've got doing some jazz as well. So I've been we've got an album out. Just coming. Just what you were saying about what's coming out. I think it's out now. A Slovakian drummer called Marek Dorchik and some cool UK guys, George Crowley, Miguel Garodi, Mick Cody. That's just come out now, and there's a couple of gigs in London in August.
Beautiful.
To check out. So check out. Come see that, and obviously, more of this soon as well. Would be cool.
Yeah, man. What about you, Mark? Man, I just saw London Jazz Festival with Planet B. That's going to be killing.
Indeed.
other-
Like some things are brewing with Planet B, big time. So we're going to tour, and obviously also I think I can say that we're going to go back to studio for a second album. We're also like going for some recording action with Mr. Hitchcock.
Yep.
Fairly soon for his project. And many new bands and like new projects, like like tours and stuff. So it's kind of busy at the moment. So
Great, man.
cool.
Good. All right. So it's nice to hear that people are getting busy again, after a long shutdown.
Life is coming back.
That's it.
Hey, Ant, thanks
yeah.
for letting me back in the video, man. Happy to be here.
No worries, man. Alex, any highlights coming up for you, man?
Sorry, I know my thing dropped out literally just as you asked the question, a bit like when I hung up a phone call on you earlier when you offered me a gig that I couldn't do, and in blind fury hung up the phone by mistake. I've got some stuff. Next week, actually, I'm going away. I'm going to do a composing residency, which is the first time I've ever done that with a brilliant cellist. Well, she's a cellist and a singer and a lyricist and a composer called Midori Yeager. And then hopefully we'll have loads and loads of music, enough to fill albums for the rest of our lives, because we're there for a week. So we'll just sort of drip feed them until death. And then recording with Mark, one of my favourite drummers and human beings in the world. So I'm very much looking forward to that, even though it's been rescheduled. I've got another album coming out on Fresh Sound, which we're going to launch at Ronnie's in November. Bits and bobs to be working on.
Great. Everyone's busy. I'm very happy to hear it. Well, thanks very much for coming to hang out, Tom, Mark, Matt, Alex.
Expert.
Is that it? Are we finished?
We're nearly finished. So on the album, everyone, you just heard the opening track, Phalo Blue. That's followed by 4 standalone pieces. And then there's a kind of second side, which is a 4-part suite, which was really, I really like what you've done with it, Matt. There are themes that recur throughout all of the pieces and are really manipulated. There's a lot of stuff in 15, which offers so many possibilities for 3 times 5 or 5 times 3 or an 8 and a 7 or a 7 and an 8. There's, you know, all those kind of fractions basically mean that you can use one meter or one rhythm in so many different ways. And I really think you did a great job with your composition. I mean, I've always enjoyed your composition. It's mainly been the harmonic content that I found intriguing, and the melodies that result from that. And I think anyone who checks out Thymos and Meta will know what I'm talking about. But definitely on this record, I feel like you really stepped it up, and the compositions were, well, they weren't really jazz tunes anymore. They were like compositions, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we're actually going to close out, folks, with a video of a bonus track that's not on the album, but we strongly encourage you, please go on the streamers if you have to, but if you really want to support, what you do is buy the record and then go and stream it. And we really, you know, musicians need your support. You know, if you don't pay for music, the musicians don't get paid, and musicians can't pay their mortgages. So thank you in advance for any support that you do offer. Yeah, well, Matt, thanks for bringing us all.
I should also,
man. Yeah,
my pleasure. I mean, it's amazing doing it with all you guys. I mean, it was like, it was a big decision to do it, you know, and then it was like, I had to think about it carefully, who to go with. And I was just like, so happy that it was just felt like a great band from the very get-go. And just love hanging out with you guys and playing. It's brilliant. So I hope we get to do it more.
Yeah,
Much
me too.
more. And I want to play some other tunes as well. Like you said about 15, like through total coincidence and no real endeavour to do so, a lot of my tunes end up being in 15. There's like two on Thymos that are in 15. Although it's not written like that sometimes, but that's what it is. And then there's another one on the second album. And you know, when we actually get some more gigs, it might be nice to try. I'm going to try and write some more stuff, and maybe try and do some stuff of the old albums as well. And maybe we could do a whole gig of 15.
Matt, man, because you've got tunes in 7 and 13. Sometimes a tune in like 13, the one we were doing last night, the Minotaur, that started, and takes my brain a while to go, no, 13, not 15. There's a couple of bars where I'm like, just glitching out. It's quite funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just pick one and stick to it. Yeah.
Hey, do you want?
I should also make.
Go. Yeah, no, you go on, Matt. I was just going to talk rubbish, but I want to be able to. But you carry on.
Hey, are you about to play the other tune? You are about to play the other tune, aren't you, Anne?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, the bonus track. Just to say, if you like it, those who are watching or whatever, go to my website and subscribe to the mailing list, and then you get a link to download it automatically for free.
Ooh, mailing list.
Voila. There's a mailing list, yeah.
Mailing lists are cool. I like to sign up to my favorite artist mailing list, because then when they play a gig, I know when it is.
Yeah.
Clever.
You
got it.
Yeah. I don't know. Are any of you on the Punch Brothers mailing list? They email like every day. It's too much, folks. Matt's not going to do that. Don't worry. All right, a couple of shout outs.
I do like. Yeah, go on.
Go on, the Punch Brothers. You're going to say, Matt?
No, I don't know who the Punch Brothers are. You can tell me if you like.
Oh no, I don't really care. What are you going to say though?
Can't remember.
Okay.
Hey, Anne. Final thing. I know you're trying to wrap it up.
Yeah.
5 more baby names that are also paint colours. Okay, and you can get your fans to vote them. Royal Iris, Practical Beige, Whispering Peach. She was a friend of mine. Lavender Secret and Likeable Sand. So you can choose between them. Any appeal, Matt?
I don't like any of the colours you've mentioned today, to be honest. I don't think any of them would.
Lavender, beige.
Yeah, well, on their own, but with
nacho.
nacho cheese. I mean,
Stop being stupid. Nacho is the
There's
one.
Nacho is the name of an adult film actor, I think. So I think if I named a child Nacho, I think that would be too much at the back of my mind.
Matt,
Hey, Ant, when you have me on the next QZ, I can come with some adult film actor names that you could call your kids, and then you could get your viewers to vote.
Did you ever hear that thing that you figure out you figure out your porn name by the name of your first pet and your mother's maiden name? So mine's Max Ashworth.
Oh, my name is
And
Max
it's-
too.
Yeah, really, yeah, no way. But it's so funny how many people I say, yeah, my name's Matt, and they're like, oh, Max, hi, Max. I'm like,
Alright.
I said Matt. Max.
What is the second part?
Not very many people are called Max. I'm just baffled as to how Matt gets misheard so much to Max. Maybe I just look like a Max. I don't know.
you don't look like a Max.
No.
You look like a nacho cheese.
You're like- All right, guys, just everyone cool it, yeah? Couple of quick shout outs. The Oracle, we love you, Sue. Get well soon. Thanks for tuning in. Matt, read this comment from Mr. Dave Series.
Hey, Dave. How you doing, man?
That
Dave was on my year at Trinity, 16 years ago.
Serial.
We graduated, and now super serial. Yeah, I haven't seen him for like a decade or so.
Yeah.
So I hope our paths cross soon. Because
come
it has
back to London, Dave.
been years.
Hey, thank you for tuning in. Amy, David, Annette, Pauline, Vic, Patrick, Peter, Tim, Andreas, and other people who I can't see. Avocado, Vanta Black, Beige, this, Beige, that.
Thank you, Avo.
Thank you, Avo. And we really hope you like the album. Come and, you can listen to it for free on the streamers. So please check it out. And if you like it, then, I'm sure you will. Then you can buy it if you want. And thanks so much, guys. This is definitely, as my friend Tim said earlier, this is proving to be the funniest and weirdest QZ he's watched yet. And Tim is a loyal subscriber. Tim, I love you, man. You're always checking out the QZ. Checking into the QZ, I should say. But yeah, thanks very much, chaps. Hope to cross paths soon. Any last words?
No, I think au revoir, à bientôt. I'm going to get crucified for my French accent now, aren't I?
No way. It's great. It's great.
Guys, I'm sorry. I nearly forgot. 2 more things. This thing first. Okay, ready? Kids write jokes. Here we go. Bam.
I love this.
Tasha.
I don't understand either.
Don't get it.
Matt, tell us about Georgina. Have you named a song after a woman other than your wife?
No. I mean, to be honest, I was told this. I used to play in a band with an oud player from Iraq, and one of his tunes was called "Oh Georgina," and he told me that it was called that because the underlying rhythmic pattern was called Georgina, which is 5 or 10 actually, 10/8. So it's like 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3, rather than your standard 5/4 in jazz, which tends to be the same, like 1 2 3 1 2. Dun, 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 dun. That's 1 2 3 1 2 throughout the whole thing. This is 1 So he called his tune "Oh Georgina" and I called mine "Georgina Diabolo."
Matt, did you say a nude player earlier?
And I think he has been nude before, but not with me. An oud player. OUD. The Middle Eastern
yeah. Dude,
Middle Eastern lute. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was a joke, wasn't it, Sue? So.
Yeah. But maybe it's conceivable that some people might have genuinely misheard and thought you were talking about a nude player. So I'm glad we did clarify that. So we're going to
Yeah, me
close
too.
out the quarantine zone with Georgina Diablo, which is the bonus track from the album, Iraqi inspired and Iraqi music inspired. So yeah, thanks very much, guys. Over and out. See you all soon, folks. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Nice one.
Bye.
Bye.